And it's 1 minute after, so we'll get started. If more people come in, if I hear a ding, I'll admit them. Can everybody hear me all right? If anybody cannot hear me, just,
Shout.
well, and then you're welcome to put yourself on mute to cut down any likelihood of a background noise, but you're also welcome to keep yourself unmuted if you wish. Just yell out if you have a question. I may not see your hand raised if I'm working on a screen. Huey, maybe if you can look for that and interrupt me if somebody has a question that I'm missing, I'd be glad to help with that. And thank you all for coming. It's a beautiful day out there. You're going to go out and enjoy it after this class. And I'm going to figure out now how I can share my screen with you. So let's see what I can do here. Share at the bottom and entire screen. I guess we'll do that. I'll share the sound in case there's any sound that comes on there. Now I'm clicking entire screen and share at the bottom. Here we go. Let's see if this works. Can you see my screen?
Yes, the screen.
Okay, we're going to see if we can get rid of some stuff here. Okay, you should see a flowing river.
Yes.
Everybody see the flowing
Yeah,
river?
you are sharing your screen and we see your desktop.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, there's one thing that I failed to do last class, and that was the basic turn on, turn off thing. I'd like to cover that real quick. If your computer is on, as mine is, and you go to the start button in the lower left and you left click once, you get a menu of choices. Now, this menu is going to be a little different in Windows 10. It's going to be half the width, and it's going to have a list of things on it. But all we're concerned with now is this circle with the vertical line at the 12 noon position. And that is the universal symbol for power or turning something on or off. It might be on your microwave too. I don't know. If you click that, well, if you move your mouse to it, you see the word power appears. And that is a good tip for a lot of things. If you move your mouse to something and you don't click, the mouse may allow a little rectangle of text to appear to explain what that is. If I go to an icon, nothing appears. I go up here. No, no. So it doesn't always work. But in this case, when you point to something or a symbol, an icon, sometimes you'll get a text that tells you what that icon is for. If we left click on power, we get some choices. And these choices are the same in Windows 10. You can lock your computer up requiring a code to use to unlock it. And the code is something that you would set. This is something that I would never use. It is useful in a business environment where you have many people on many computers in the same room and you have to step away from your computer. You can lock your computer so nobody else can touch it. Maybe you have some relatives that are too nosy and you may want to lock your computer. But normally, you're the only one using your computer. Nobody's around. You'll never have to use that. The sleep option, again, I just moved my mouse to it. It tells me what it is. The PC stays on, but in a low power state. Some people like to leave their computer on all the time. And I don't have an argument with them. That's fine. But I would suggest you put it in sleep mode. It uses
We're not
He may
hearing.
have, he may
You're
have clicked the button.
question.
You're freezing up.
I'm freezing up. Oh, I'm
Yep.
sorry. Nothing I can do. Can you hear me smoothly?
Now you
Oh,
can.
yeah.
No, okay.
Okay,
Yeah, you went to sleep.
I went to sleep. Well, I enjoyed my nap. It was too short. I went to sleep. Yeah, so sleep mode, in my particular use of my computer, I do a shutdown of the computer every night so that when I come in the morning and start up my computer, I do a complete power up. It checks everything when it does a power up. Um, but when I use it during the day, I have it go to sleep to save power if I'm going to be away for hours from using the computer. Shutdown is the complete shutdown of your computer. It'll turn off everything. If you have an auxiliary monitor, for example, you'll have to shut down the monitor as well separately. And a restart, the restart will shut down and restart at the same time. It'll shut down and immediately restart after the shutdown. Why is that there? Well, sometimes you turn something on or off in an app, and the effect of what you've done will not be registered or taken by the computer until you do the next restart.
But Jean
Sometimes,
has her hand up.
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead. Unmute, go ahead.
Good morning to everybody. The one thing I would mention on this shutdown is that it is wise to do it somewhat frequently because it cleans up the cache and closes out things that would be in residual. So it's not wise to always go to sleep mode. I use sleep mode a lot during the day. When I'm going to get a bite to eat or something like that, I put it in sleep mode to bring it down, but everything's still available when I come back. But to turn it off is important all the way down, and then power up sometimes so you could clean the machine. Now, Huey, you probably got a better way of saying it, but that's what I would suggest.
Actually, recently I found out that restart does a complete shutdown and start up where you're when you shut down at night and use the shutdown, it doesn't clean it out as much as the restart does. So every once in a while I do the restart and it shuts everything down and then brings it back up where the actual shutdown doesn't do all of that.
Okay,
And then
thank you both. That's good advice.
And Jim, one more thing I wanted to mention. I had an incident where I was working with somebody that I thought was a tech that I had brought to my machine. And I wanted the guy to do something, and he wasn't doing what I wanted. And the next thing I knew, my screen was blank. I knew he was downloading at that point or uploading. So I tried Control-Alt-Delete, which typically would have knocked him off, but I was not able to. So the only thing I could do was physically take the power away from my machine, and that broke the connection. So when that happens, you must figure out, pull your plug. Okay, you must stop the work because I knew he was doing something he should not be doing. Yeah. So
If you're on a laptop, you can't really pull the plug because if you do, it just goes to battery. So what you want to do is hold down your start button on your computer if there is one.
Right.
Just hold it down and leave it and keep holding it down and it will shut down automatically.
You're
Yes,
talking about
that's
the power button?
Yes.
Yes, it's the power on off button that you
Yeah.
use to turn on your computer. If you hold it down, as Huey said, and keep holding it down, it will force a shutdown. And if that happens, you may have, if you haven't done a save of some window you were working in, you may have lost what you've done because you're doing a forced shutdown. Okay.
But if you lock up, that's a way to get out of it.
Yes, that will get you out of everything. And then you have to do a restart. Yeah. Okay, let's move along here and get
Just click outside that box.
there we go.
There you
Yeah, we got it. Okay. What we're going to do today, and I taught this years ago, it hasn't changed that much. We're going to concentrate today on File Explorer. The File Explorer is an app that comes with Windows. It has always been with Windows. And in Windows 11, there is just a couple little appearance things that have changed from Windows 10. I'm going to open up my File Explorer and we're going to start. Let me open it up. Just one click if it's on the taskbar, 2 clicks if it's an icon on your desktop. And this is File Explorer in Windows 11. It's a little different screen than in Windows 10, but the functionality is the same. Don't be scared. Okay. What I'd like to do is use up the time today to look at how to navigate and look in, find things, search for things, get those files, get those folders, find the files and folders you want. And then after we learn the basics of how to find things using Windows Explorer, then we'll get into how to use the tool. In other words, how to move files, rename files, create new folders, move things into different folders, and reorganize and rename.
And delete, please.
And delete, please. Absolutely. Okay. So this is what my screen on Windows 11 starts with. And right here, you see a list of the main folders. This is kind of nice. They give you a list of the main folders that you should be using. There's other folders, and certainly you can get to them, but you don't want to be messing around with putting things in other folders other than these. These are yours to use. Okay? And you see that there's a little stick pin here. That means these are pinned here to make easy access. If I click on Documents, which is the same as this Documents here, right? If I click on Documents, I get the contents of my Documents folder. Documents is a big, big folder. It contains more folders. These are all folders. You can tell by the folder icon. If I scroll down the very skinny scroll bar, at the end of the folders, which ends with the letter Z, zoom, then my files begin. These are not folders, they're files. And you can go down the list and you can see this is the name of the file. This is the date it was modified. The file type it's a JPEG file, and the size of the file. And how do I get this list? Well, I'm in the View Detail List view. And in the Detail List view, you get the column headings, the name, date modified, type, and size. Okay. You can change the view to anything you want. We could change it to medium icons. We could change the view to large icons. We can change the view to tiles. We can change the view to small icons. Okay? There's only 2 views in File Explorer that I use. I use the view Details because I want the column headings in my list. And the list is long. There's only 1 item on a line, not 2 or 3, just 1. The reason I like this is because of the column headings, and it makes it easy to sort the contents of what you're looking at. You see this little tiny arrow up here in the name column. That means that this list of files and folders is listed by name alphabetically. If I click on this column heading, bloop, left click, the arrow is now pointing downward. And the whole entire list has been sorted in reverse. So that the top one on the list is the letter Z, Y, so forth, going down alphabetically. The files come first, and then the folders at Z going all the way down to A, or digits. Digits come before A. Okay. So I can sort my list any way I want by using or clicking on the column headings. If I click by date modified, now the entire list is sorted by the modified date of the file or folder. If I click on type, now all my folders are together. Well, they are anyway, but now all my files are sorted. I have all the JPEG files together, all the Microsoft Edge files together. Okay, and if I click on size, now I get a list of all this list, the largest to the smallest, taking up space.
Jim,
This is all done in the view detail list. Okay,
Jim,
questions?
yeah, I've got Windows 10 and my word sort is not highlighted, so it doesn't work. The word view is highlighted like darker, as is filter, but not sort. So I'm wondering, anybody else on Windows 10, the sort is not available to us?
It should be, the sort is
I
not,
sort all the time on Windows 10, Andrea. So
Okay.
what I would suggest, if you get a minute after the call, perhaps we can talk on the phone.
No, yeah, I'm not going to use it. I'm just commenting that mine's
I
impaired.
use it all the time. I use the sort
Oh.
all the time because sometimes I'm looking for a file, but I know it was done in this last week. So I use the sort all the time.
Okay, yes, I guess it would be important to me, but,
Yeah.
okay, so it's not Windows 10, it's me.
Yeah, it's just something you're not seeing. So we'll go
Okay.
over that.
Okay,
okay, hang on, we're admitting somebody here.
Andrea, I'll put in the chat my telephone number. You can call me.
okay, my name is Anda, A-N-D-A.
And sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It's not an English name.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back. Maybe we can, this will touch on it. You go to the view to get your different views.
Yeah,
There's no sort in this list. It's just different views. If you want to sort by the column headings that I showed you, you have to choose the detail view. It's only the detail view that has
Don't hear you.
You're froze.
you
frozen.
froze again. Can you please put up your telephone number again? It was too fast. I couldn't write it down.
It's on the chat window.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
Click chat at the bottom.
Yeah.
Jim, you're frozen. There you go. You're back now.
Okay, going back to the two views that I use. All right, I said the main view I use is the detail list view. That's for everything other than pictures. If I'm working with photographs, images, pictures, JPEGs, whatever, I use the view large icons. And the reason I use the view large icons is because if it's a photo, it gives me a thumbnail that I can see without having to open the file or folder. So if I scroll down, and here's some teaching photos, I can open up this folder by double clicking on it. There we go. Okay. If I want to open a folder in this list, I can just double click on it and it opens the folder, and you can see that in this view, which is large icons, I can actually see a thumbnail of the pictures. So those are the only two views I use. Now, I can't sort these things. They're already sorted alphabetically. I have the sort command here. Maybe that's what would help And there's a sort command if you don't have the detail view list, and then you can sort here by name, date, type, and more. So maybe that's what was missing from her. But anyway, if you want to look at any of these pictures, you can just double click on them, click. It opens up the Windows Picture Viewer app and shows you the picture.
Sedona,
And let's see if I can get out of this here. I don't want to edit it or anything with it. We'll just take
Just close
this
the window.
out. Oops, wrong one. Sorry.
sorry.
We'll get the app back here again. Okay. Documents. And here we go. Okay, if you pick a view, let's go into, say, monitor articles here. These are all the articles I've written for the monitor. If I go to a view for this folder, see the folders are listed over here, documents, monitor articles, whatever, screenshots. Okay, back to monitor articles. If you pick a view that you want for a folder, the computer will remember that view for that folder the next time you open the folder. So in other words, if I go to pictures, go down here, pictures, it remembered the view large icons. So I don't have to go and set the view every time I open a folder. I only need to set it once. Okay. Are there any questions about the two views? And if you want to play with other views, you're welcome to play with them.
Jim, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question about dates. And
Okay.
I want to revise something I've written. It goes to, then it says that I created it on a certain date. And it goes to the new date. So instead of knowing the old date, in other words, is there any way to know when you originally created it?
I don't know of any way. Do you, Huey? The date
Yeah,
that's reflected is the
Yeah, you can
modified
change,
date.
you can change the titles. I think we're getting deeper and you want to go, but there is a way to list instead of go to your details view.
I will, hang on. Go to documents and we'll
Okay.
change the view to details. Okay,
Okay. Notice it says date modified at the top.
yes.
There is a way in which you can change that to I can't remember what it's called, but it's other than date modified. It will be the original date, I believe. But I think that's getting a little bit more advanced than you want to be here.
If you do that and you go by the original date, you're going to get confused with after you modify it. As soon as you modify it, you get a new modified date, but the date of the original date would not change. So now do you know which one you want to use, you know?
Well,
So the date modified is more helpful, I think.
Probably. The only thing is sometimes it goes back to, like, if you're doing something for a group and you want to modify it 3 or 4 months later because you didn't get to it when you should have. So then it comes up and you don't know what month it was really relating to.
Right. Well,
Dan, my suggestion, I have a suggestion. I'd suggest you put the original date in part of the title. So in other words, you put the title of the document in, but then you write that the original date is 1/29. So you know that's when you did it. And so when you come back, you still have the right date that you last time you've edited, but you know when it was initially created. That's the way I would do it.
Thank you.
Another way to approach it is if you modify something, make it a new file.
Version
And then
1,
you still
version
have the
2.
old file, which will have the original modified date on it.
Right, so you can also say version 1, version 2.
Okay. So that's the view. Are there any questions about just the views options? Yeah, Timothy, unmute yourself.
It takes a while.
That's okay.
My question is, I'm looking at a folder called Documents and WTF. Where's the file? How do I know where this is? Because I can't find it in files. And yet I'm
Okay.
typing on it, so it's got to exist somewhere.
Okay, I think we're going to get to that point, continuing with the class, because I haven't gone on locations and where things are yet. There is a
Okay,
search
thanks. I'll
box
wait.
up here. If you search for something, let's say we want to search for Stug stuff, S-T-U-Z, S-T-U-G. When you do the search, you'll get the search results. And I don't know if Windows 10 would highlight or underline the search text that you entered to show you why and how it found that file. But when you get to a file here, you can right click on it. Let me go to one here and right click. And here you can, where's the view sort? It should have open file location.
Yeah, it says open with share, open file location.
Yeah, mine does not show open file location. I think maybe you have to check it over here, maybe.
Oh,
Show more options.
Don't you have to open a folder before you can get the correct shortcuts? You're pointing at a folder instead of a document. I bet you get a different menu when you point to a document.
Yes. And here I can say, open a new tab. Hang on, I'm freezing. Here we go. Open folder location. And if I open that loop, it will highlight the document in the folder that it's in.
that's folders too. Click another one. Click again.
And there it is. It's under start. When you do a search, I think it only searches the current folder that you're in. So if you're in documents and you do a search, it's going to search documents. If you're in pictures and you do a search, it's going to search just the pictures. So
And
be
if you-
aware of that when you search, that you're in the right main folder here,
That's right.
which is desktop documents, downloads, pictures, music, and videos. Okay. After this list of pinned
Question?
folders, yeah, another question.
Is there a way on the bottom where it says 23 items to show the path to that folder?
Yes, the path is always displayed. Let me illustrate. If we go to documents and let me sort it by name again, and I go to the class teaching folder and open that, loop, loop, left click twice. And then I go to the Excel class stuff folder and open that, click, click. The path is right up here. So it shows
Thank you.
whatever folder you're in, this is the folder you're in, the Excel class stuff. Well, where is it? Well, it's in the teaching folder, which is in the documents folder. Okay. Now in Windows 10, if you come over to documents, there would be an arrow to click on to show in the left column the folders that are in documents. Now in Windows 11, and this is just me with my short experience with Windows 11, this is pinned. So you can click on it and start going through this way, but the folders aren't listed in the left column. So if you go down, here's documents again under libraries. And here's documents. And if I click documents, I get the same list because it's the same folder. It's just a different way of getting to the same folder. Now here in documents, you notice there's a little arrow pointing to the word documents. This arrow pointing to the right means that since documents is highlighted in this column, the contents of the documents folder is displayed over here in this window pane on the right side. If I click this little arrow, bloop, I get documents again. Well, anyway, it's kind of confusing, but let's not go there yet. But click the arrow on documents, and now I get the folder list of documents that are the same as in the window. This matches, okay? If I click the down pointed arrow, it changes back to a right pointed arrow. And there's the list again. Again, clicking it will show the folder list. Why do you do that and why is that helpful? The left column contains only folders. And you can open a folder here to see if there's more folders in that folder. For example, Feedback Hub folder does not contain any more folders. If I click on it, all this folder is empty. That's no help, is it? If I click on this folder, I got one file in there. But this folder does not have an arrow next to it, which indicates that that folder does not contain any more folders. Here's a class teaching folder. It has an arrow next to it. That means that this folder does contain more folders. And if I click the arrow, bloop, it lists them right here. And you can see that they're slightly indented. And the arrow is pointing down to indicate that these folders are being displayed as part of the class teaching folder. Can I click on these? Absolutely. That folder's empty. This one has some files in it. And you can still see the path name up here. I'm in the iPad and iPhone teaching stuff folder, which is in the class teaching folder, which is in some folders over here. And I click the dots and I can see that the rest of my folder list here: documents, documents, libraries, class teaching folder, iPad, iPad. So every file is in a folder. And all the folders are on your C drive. And if we have time, we'll get into plugging in another drive and getting on folders on another drive. Margaret Jean, you have your hand raised.
Yeah,
you have
Jim,
a question?
what happens when you
go
hit
ahead.
What happens when you hit details on the right-hand side of your menu there where it says sort view? Details on the right, does it tell you something? Like if you highlight one of the files, and press detail, what will you get?
Okay, that's a good question. If you highlight one of the files, and one of the things I have turned on as an option is this little box over here.
Yeah.
So I can highlight a file by clicking the box. Actually, highlighting a file does click the box. Okay, so then in the box that's highlighted, we get information about this file. What information do we have? We have the file name, the date it was modified, and the file type and size. But if I leave my mouse on the file, I get more information in a box. Do you see that?
Yeah, on the bottom.
I did not click.
Yeah.
I just put my mouse on the file and I get that it's a Microsoft Word 97 document, 2003, the size, the date modified, that it's 1 page long, and the path that is used to get to this file.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Now, if I right click on the file name, right click, I get this menu. This will be a little different in Windows 10. But again, here's another way to open the file location, properties of the file. You can left click that. It tells you all the information, general, security, custom, details, everything you want to know about the files. And I bet the original date created, there it is right there, that Huey mentioned. Okay. And I won't go into these details. We don't have 10 years to go through all this stuff, much as however fun it would be. Okay. Now, I hope you're taking good notes. Here's a pretty important point. If you use File Explorer and go to a file, any file, and you want to open that file to work with that file, what I do is double click it. All right. So if I go to a file like basic settings.doc, that's a document because it's a Microsoft Word document. Okay. And I want to open this, I'm going to double click it with my left mouse button. Here we go. You ready? Watch what happens. Click, click. It opens up Word. And then after it opens up Word, it gives me an ad. I don't want to click for details. How do I get rid of that? Click off of it. Click the X. Back. X. Get me out of here. There we go. I don't want that either. How did that get in there? Oh, no, that's part of the document. Okay, it's not an ad. That's my heading. Okay, so it opened up the file in Word. Here's the thing that you should jot down. If you double click on a file, when you're in File Explorer, it will open up or try to open up the file using your default app for that file type. Okay, so this was a Word document. So when I double clicked on it, the computer recognized that it was a Word document and opened up the Word program app for me and opened up the document in the app. So I'm all set to go. That's really nice.
Barbara has
All
her
right,
hand
let's
up.
go on. The question?
Barbara.
No, actually, I have a comment. I think it was, if I recognize the voice correctly, Anne's voice, who was looking for date created,
Yes.
right? Okay, I can show you where it is because I like that sometimes as well. If you click on documents, so I can show you where the menu is. Okay, right next to size. If you click in an right click in an empty space, it gives you, no, right click in an empty space next to the word size. Next to the word, not on the word. Yeah, there you go. So click on date created. And now you have date created.
Oh, thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome. And then there's other categories that may be important to you as well.
Yes, one, I didn't, there is so much to do in File Explorer.
Oh,
One of the
crazy.
things you can do is you can modify what is displayed in this window. And I wasn't going to get into that because there's 20 gazillion different things I like to stay with these things. If you want to add date, original date, you can do that. You can add many, many other things, but then the window gets too wide and it's too hard to find things. And if it's useful for you, go ahead. You can ask Google, how do I display different things in File Explorer on the detail list view? There are many, many options. You can make this list your own. I don't like to modify or recommend to people to modify the options, because if somebody tries to help you and you have moved something someplace else and they tell you, oh, you just go over here and you click on it and it's not there because you've modified it, see? So be careful when you modify things or add things, to recognize that it's that important to you. And if somebody tries to help you and they go to help you and they can't find something because you've moved it, could be a problem. Okay, very good. But there are other options that you could certainly list here in the view of detail list view. Okay, now where was I? Let's see. I was, oh, double clicking. If, just to review again, if you double click on a file in File Explorer, it will use your default app for that file type to open it up. All right, let's go to pictures just for something different and show you what that works in pictures. Okay, I'm going to open up pictures, and this pictures here is the same as if I went up to the pinned pictures here and click pictures. It's the same. Okay. Now here my view is large icons. If I open up some photos, okay, let's take a photo here. A nice sunset photo, maybe. Oh, nothing in there. Let me go back. Back to pictures. Okay. Well, okay, here's my house. That's up. Okay. I want to open and look at this picture. So again, the same rule applies. If I double click a file in File Explorer, it's going to open up that file with the default app. So I double click this picture, left click, click, click. Here's the photo. What did it open it up in? It opened up in the Windows Picture app. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with this app. This is a great app. I can edit the picture and do all kinds of things with it. But I didn't want it open in this app. I want to open that file in a different app. And I'm not going to go into how to change the default app for different file types today, okay? But what I want to show you is, if I get out of this thing here.
Hit the X in the corner.
Yeah, I did, and it got me out of everything.
Yeah, you go. There you go. Keep going to the right. All the way to the right.
Okay, I have to move it over.
The other right.
Okay, going back to this thing again here, File Explorer. Okay. Suppose I want to open a photo in the pictures, or I'm sorry, in the Paint app. Okay. And I want to work with the photo in the Paint app. If I double click the photo in the File Explorer, it's not going to open it up in the Paint app. Okay. It's going to open up in the Windows Picture app. So what do? Well, you open up the app you want to use first. So here, if I go to let me just reduce this to an icon. If I go to the Paint app, oh, come on, it's right here. I know I put it here. Huh. Well, this would be a good thing to come down to the Start button, go to All,
Was on the third row.
Oh, it was there. Okay, thank you. I missed it.
Yeah.
Third row.
Third row, second
Oh,
one.
there it is. It has a different icon than it used to. It used to have an artist's
The
palette.
paintbrush, yeah.
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 But I open up the paint program and I open up a paint, I go to file, and now I go to open, and now I'm using the app to open up the file. And look at this list over here on the left. That looks just like File Explorer, but it's in the Paint Open app. It's in the open command of the Paint app. And now I have to go look for it. So I can go look for pictures. And I think it was it 2001 maybe? I can't remember.
It's your house.
Yeah, I know, but I forgot what folder it was in. We'll use this one, our house. Click. And now it opened up that photo in the Paint app. It's all there, believe me. There's the house. Okay. And it's in a different app. I'm not going to go into Paint. I'm not going to go into Windows Picture app. But be aware that if you double click a file in Windows Explorer, it's going to use your default app to open that file. If you don't want the default app to be used, you want to use a different app to open the file, then open the app first and use the app to find the file that you want.
Before you get out of that,
questions about that?
you got out of it. Can you
You
go back?
Want me back in?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go back to a picture again.
Okay, let me go back to the paint thing. And we'll open up a picture.
Okay, I don't want you to do it in Paint. I want you to do it in File Explorer.
Okay, sure, no problem. Go to pictures. And I think we're in 220 there. And here's okay.
You
You want me to
click on
double click?
No, I don't want you to do anything.
Okay,
Right mouse click. Notice at the top it says open. That'll open it in the default. Right under it is open with. Click, and if you'll see there, you'll have Paint, Photos, and it'll change depending upon the file. But go back down to open with your arrow,
Second
and
one.
notice to the right it opened another little window or
I
little.
can't see the other window.
Your view's blocked, that's why.
Yeah, hang
You've
on a
got
second.
too many. But it showed the open with showed all the options.
Yeah, there's an open with choice there, and you can then click it, and
Second one, yeah.
There
you
it
just
is.
hold your mouse over. Yeah.
Paint, photo, snipping tool.
So at
so
that
forth.
point, you could open with Paint or Photos.
Right. And the computer has to be aware that these apps are on it. I don't know how this list is formed. Does the computer know that all these apps are on my computer?
That was
and
my
that I can
question.
use any
That was
one of
my
these?
question.
Yes.
Okay.
So and it also
Or
may
choose
not
another
show,
app.
it may not show the ones you want. You can choose another app, but if that doesn't work at all, then go back, open up the program that you want, and then open the file.
Right.
But it will default to those regular ones that are part of the operating system, right? Like Paint and Snip.
Yes.
So those should always be in the list.
Well, real quick, if we go to Start and we go to Settings, actually, we could search for settings. Hang on a second. We go to Start, Settings, right up here. You can say Default Apps. And here's
You're frozen again, Jim.
if you want to be defaulted to. Here's you can put in the file type, such as if it's a text type file, and you want Word to open those text files, you can make Word the default app for those text files, but not for other text files,
Yeah.
depending on the file type. So let's not go into that now, but I assure you, you can ask Google, how do I change my file type for pictures or for this or for that? And it will show you. Hang on. Oh, there's the X. Okay. Things cover up that I don't want covered up. Okay, we only have a few minutes left and we haven't done anything exciting yet. We're into the boring stuff of displaying and opening. But real quick, this column over here shows only folders, not files. To get the files, you click on the folder you want, and the contents of that folder is displayed in the main large area of the window. Folders can contain folders. Folders can contain folders and files. This folder documents contains folders and files. Notice that the folders don't take up any space. The folder is just the name of an area. It's the files you put into the folder that take up the space. Okay. If I open up a folder, I think I have a teaching folder here. Teaching photo, hang on. I think I created a different one. Class teaching folder, okay. I put everything in here that I can delete after class. I'm going to open that folder as an example. There's nothing in here that I need. I can play with it all I want, okay? So the next class, we're not done yet, but the next class, we're going to talk about using File Explorer to organize, to move files around, to rename files, to copy files, and delete files, okay? We can get a little start of that now because we do have a couple minutes. If I click on a file, I have options up here. Now, the options in Windows 10 are going to be a little different on this menu. They may have words of like file, and then you open the options for the file. Do we have a question coming?
Not yet.
Okay, I thought I heard some background. I'm sorry. In Windows,
39030.
Yeah, that's somebody's
what?
phone call.
Oh, okay. In Windows 11, they have replaced the words for certain menu item selections to icons. Cut, copy. That's supposed to be paste, but I can't paste anything because I haven't cut or copied anything to paste. And here's the rename. Share with somebody else and delete. I think in Windows 10, the delete is a red X. Okay. So you can do any of these things with these files. And what we'll learn next time is that there are probably 5 or 6 or 7 different ways of doing the same thing. Say you want to move a file from one folder to another. There's at least 5 ways of doing it. And we probably won't cover all 5 ways, but somebody will have a question. Can't you do it this way? And the answer is going to be, yeah, probably, sure. And we can demonstrate it. I'll be glad to do that. But I'll show you the 1 or 2 ways next time that I like to do it. Basically, I like to get the folder list over here of the destination folder. The terms we'll use is the source folder or original folder where the file is now. And the destination folder is where you want the file to be. There's a difference between cutting and pasting and copying and pasting. And they started doing my lawn out here. I'm sorry for the noise. They're gonna come right up to my door. I know they are.
You talked about a next class, which you haven't spoken of before.
Say that again, Anda?
This was a 2-session classes. You're now talking about another class. Can you talk about the date before you shut down?
Yes, the next class dates are, and it'll be in the monitor for the, look in the monitor for February. The next class dates are February 11th and February 28th. Same time,
28th?
same station.
Hang on, so the February the 11th is a Tuesday and the 28th is a Friday.
I'm sorry, 25th.
Okay,
2011, February 11th and 25th
at 10 o'clock.
at 10 o'clock.
Okay,
Check the monitor.
I normally don't, that's why I'm,
Okay. Yeah, everything's in the monitor.
okay.
Okay, are there any questions?
Well, we
You've
have,
made some great progress today. You've got great questions and comments.
What time again?
Feel free to
10
look-
o'clock,
Yes, at 10 o'clock. That's
same
correct.
time.
Yes, the same time.
Jim, do we have to sign up again to get a link?
No, everybody that's attended today will get my email reminder for the next class.
Okay,
If there's any new people, they should go to the monitor, follow the instructions, and send me an email that they wish to attend, and I'll add them to the list. I won't remove you from the list until you request to be removed. So you'll keep getting my emails for my classes until you tell me you don't want them anymore.
Jim,
Are there any other questions?
I should know this, but please remind me, these classes are recorded?
Say that again, Isaac?
Are these classes recorded?
Yes. Huey records the classes for me, and they will be on YouTube as I understand it.
Got it,
That's
because I'm going to
correct.
miss the next one, so I could just go to YouTube and put Stug in and the date, and it'll take me there.
Yes, you
Got it.
should
Thank
be
you
able
very
to
much.
find it. Huey's been doing a great job with that,
Thank you.
okay? Don't be afraid to ask Google. You can ask Google, how do I rename a file? If you put in the words File Explorer and Windows 10 or File Explorer Windows 11, you'll get more targeted instructions. So ask Google, how do I rename a file in File Explorer Windows 10? How do I move a file? How do I delete a file? How do I create a new folder? How do I move things into a folder? You can ask Google any of those things, and they'll give you nice little videos to pick from. Try to pick ones where they don't have the heavy accent so you can understand them. Are there any other questions?
Not now.
Great class, Jim.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you all very
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
coming. I'm
Thank you.
glad I didn't get a nasty pop-up. I'm gonna work on that and see if we can get rid of those pop-ups. Thank you very much.
Great
I'm gonna
class.
sign everybody
Thank you.
off, and thank you, Huey, for your always help with the recordings. Appreciate it.